Hello.
The light does reflect off of it. Do you want to just put it against the wall? Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to another episode of Don't Panic Magazine, episode Tamara. Slay Tamara. How I would shout you out on Insta, but it's just at Tamara with a lot of extra letters and exclamation marks.
2 A's. TAAMA. Dot MARA. Yeah.
They fucking go ahead it first. I couldn't memorize that. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
What have you been up to? How are you? I know that you've been traveling quite a lot.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting and fun. How was it?
Yeah, it was great. I went like world tour mode. I went through Asia, to Japan, and then all around Europe, and then the UK, and then back to Asia and went to Bali. So it was a really good experience, but it was really overwhelming and put me out of my comfort zone a lot. But was really eye-opening and kind of formed me as a person, I guess.
Was that your first time traveling?
Yeah.
Alone?
Well, I went with my partner,
but without parents.
Yeah. Actually, my first time overseas since I went when I was 16, actually, but on a school trip, but not
the same.
My own thing.
Yeah, I'm still yet to do it as much as I would love to. I've gone to Bali so much because I have a Aussie white dad who loves his Bali, and so
classic.
he's like, oh, it's September school holidays, let's go to Bali. Okay, Dad, let's go to Bali, and every year I'd go. It was fine, and then I went again in 2018, and I'd put on weight before I'd lost it, and then put it on again.
Yeah.
And I was just ignoring them, and they just called me fat boy.
Really?
Yeah, to get my attention.
What the fuck?
I was like, I don't think I'm gonna come back here until I'm skinty because
So
this is far too much for me.
It is a really big culture shock.
Massive culture shock.
It's a big even in Japan. I was like, whoa, this place crazy.
I feel like as much as I feel like I was brought up in an extrovert house, but my nature is introverted.
Yeah.
And so I know how to be extroverted, but it burns me out. And so I would love to suss Japan and see what it's like, so I could me being my normal self. I wouldn't be I'd be able to recharge all the time.
Everyone is just so silent and shy, and it's so cute. I really liked it though.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I really want to go.
Yeah.
What would you say the favorite location was for you personally?
Probably Portugal, because I went to Lisbon. It was unexpected. I wasn't meant to go there. I booked it a day before I went, and the queer scene there is insane. Actually, in Lisbon, yeah, there was millions of, not millions, but so many queer people. Pretty much not everyone, but a lot of people come from Brazil.
Yep.
And because Brazil is really unsafe. And a lot of young people try to escape Brazil. They all come to Portugal because people in Brazil speak Portuguese. So me and my friend went out. We went to these queer clubs and met all these queer people that are so comfortable with their identity, and it amazed me.
That's awesome.
It was so amazing. I actually want to move there.
Portugal.
To Lisbon, yeah.
Lisbon. Is Lisbon near or it's in?
It's in Portugal.
In Portugal.
Yeah.
Did you travel much during uni?
No, I didn't do anything during uni. I literally was trapped at uni. I feel I was waiting to finish uni so I could travel. But also traveling is so expensive. So I was saving up for the past 4 years to go.
I always found your dark room Instagram bits talking about watching you developing stuff got me really excited about your work.
Yeah.
As much as I love seeing your finished stuff, I find it much more interesting seeing you crafting it and the design process.
Yeah. It's such a crazy craft. It took me 3 years, my whole degree pretty much. I probably started in second year at uni actually making big murals and stuff, but my first year I was just testing stuff out, and it's actually really 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 hard. It takes probably maybe 16 hours per print or something
for those big prints.
Yeah, or even longer sometimes. And sometimes I'll do a whole print, and then it will I'll mess it up.
Yeah.
I'll doubt myself and time it wrong, because you have to lay it out on the floor and crawl on top of it, and you're in pitch black, and you just can't see anything, and you just have to hope that when you push the expose button that it's all right. It's so scary when you actually do the big thing.
I agree. and
But
they say
yeah.
yes to all these things. It's a fucking process. And the reason that I've kind of asked you here today, or me, I've come to here today, instead of like you being a traditional graphic designer, is that I understand that even though it's photography, there's a process. There's still a design process of orchestrating it. You know, when you're going to see your friends, you're going to do these things. There's things that you think about that other people aren't thinking about for that evening.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're considering, all right, what am I ingesting because I want to do this, or this lighting's going on. Like, you view things quite differently. And that's common for all the people that are part of this interview process, this interview magazine. I love talking about it. It's really fun.
Yeah, the process is a big thing.
It's unique.
And like cropping and like composition in my work is like probably one of the main things. Like I'm obsessed with composition, and like people probably don't even notice, but like even just like the classic like, you know, like, oh, I forget what it's even called, but it's like the grid of like the composition. Just
Rule
like
of thirds?
yeah, I've been like out of uni for a year. I'm like, what is that? Like
I'm just gonna lose it. I know. I'm
like,
gonna lose
what
all
is
my
that?
mind.
Yeah, but just like that is like people wouldn't even notice that in my work, but it like
Right.
it's so embedded in it. Like
In it,
even like lining up people's like eyes and their mouths and like shapes of their faces with the rule of thirds is like probably one of the biggest things.
The
in
people
my
that you
work.
want to notice would notice it.
Yeah, like my teachers at university were always like, your composition is like amazing.
It's hot.
Yeah, they loved it. Yeah, so
Slay. Well, moving on.
yeah,
Don't panic. I'm going to ask you a few questions.
yes.
What a fun little memento that I put in there. I'm such a genius. Have you always been a creative person?
Yeah, I literally like, even in high school, like dropped everything. I did like maximum art subjects, like did like studio art, like art photography and like media, and then I did like 2 English subjects, like, and then I did maths from like forced by my parents because they were like, what if you need it later in life? But like literally got the worst score in my whole school in maths, so definitely not.
Did you have to do it for final year?
Yeah. But yeah, like got like top scores and all of that and everything. And my high school actually purchased my photography work when I was like, finishing, and it's like permanently in the school, which is crazy.
They knew.
So from day one, I wonder if it's still there. I'm sure it would be. I obviously don't know anyone now. at my high
Sometimes I think
school.
about the art that I drew in after school care in primary school, and they dedicated a wall to my art.
Really?
And I remember as a kid being like, "Oh my god, I have like a full wall."
That's
Like
so
everyone's stuff
cute.
got put up, but they were like, "Tristan, you draw so much, you can have a wall." And I still to this day think about where the fuck those weird drawings of like
You need to go
2000 PS2 like game characters went
Yeah.
on the wall.
It would be kind of weird if we went back though. Sometimes I think about going back and just like looking in the window or like emailing the teachers, but then I feel like kind of weird about it.
I would
so-
love for you to go on your like big get up and like fur,
Yeah.
and you're like,
And you know what's so
Excuse me.
funny is like the photos were, so this was in year 11, but I was doing like a year 12 subject early.
yep,
And I went to a very, very private school. Like it was very like not queer. Like I don't even
in
think there was.
Geelong?
Yeah, I went to, actually I won't say it, but it's a very, private Catholic school.
So was mine.
Like there was not one person that was out as gay or queer or whatever or anything.
Yeah, same.
I feel like if you were, you would probably get like beat up or something.
It was brave.
Yeah, but I made my final work about like the transition from my friend who was like 15 or 16 maybe at the time, and they were experimenting with drag, like one of my friends in Melbourne, not in Geelong.
Yeah.
And I photographed them like transforming from like as a man like presenting into like full drag.
Yeah.
And then it was like 3 massive, I've always had like big
I
photos.
love the big photos.
So
yeah,
they
yeah,
were
yeah.
always, my photos are always big, and it was
It
like,
makes sense with the portrait nature of your stuff.
yeah, and it was like him like as like himself, and then like mid like eyebrows glued down and everything, and then the final thing, and it was just so like confronting like to my high school, I guess, and like it was kind of weird. Like my teachers would have people come in and be like to the younger students, like, do you think that that's a man or a woman, and like question it, and like it was kind of just like not really understood, but like they also said that they like really respected it, and like it was like no one had done that before, so then I guess they bought it, maybe they were trying to be more inclusive, I hope.
Yeah.
Like,
You
yeah,
hope.
but just from like day one, I've been shooting that. Like, I've always been taking photos of like, the way I actually started shooting is my dad. So my dad grew up in the country and he took a film camera out with him to something called like a BNS in the country, which is, I can't remember what it stands for, but it's basically like country kids get fucked up just in a paddock.
Yep.
It's like a rave, but for country
For
kids.
country kids, yeah.
And he had this film camera and he would take photos of all the people fucked up. And he literally has all of them, but I've never seen them. I don't know, maybe he doesn't want me to see them. I don't know, but
You were inspired.
yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
for
even know
sure.
he was doing that though until later. But then he gave me his film camera when I was like 15 or 16 and was like, oh, like, you should start playing around with this. I'll just take it out to parties and take photos. And my photos were like, well, not very good then. Like, they lacked depth and like, they just were like very like, I don't know, like,
It's the same way people take photos on their phone.
yeah.
They're not thinking
Or
about
it
it.
kind of looks like, you know, when people have a disposable film camera,
Yeah.
how it's like flat, there's like no colors and no depth to it. It's just kind of like nothing. Like,
It almost looks like there's like a pane of fuzzy glass in front of them.
yeah, they were like that. And then I like stopped using that camera and bought another camera, and then eventually started using like this Pentax camera and loved it. But now I have a Contax T2 on the top
You
top
do,
end.
you do.
So that's like went
I
from the bottom
have
to the top. But
3 broken Canon Sure Shot cameras.
Canon SureShot was my
I know.
second camera.
That's
ever.
why I bought it.
Oh really?
I asked you about it
Oh my
after the
God.
thing, and you're like, "Oh, everyone asked me this question. It's fine." And I was like, "Oh, fuck's sake."
I actually got like a million Instagram messages about what camera I
Of course,
use.
because people think like it's the tool that's going to do it, which it's not.
Yeah.
It helps, but it's not.
But I reckon I went through maybe like 10 or 15 cameras before like settling on the Sure Shot. But then the Sure Shot didn't have like a focus or like it's all auto.
Yes, yeah, it's a point and shoot.
The Contax is manual. It's like a manual point and shoot, like moderately. Like it has like a shutter speed and an aperture and stuff. It doesn't have a zoom, but
I've
yeah.
tried to buy those cameras. I bought 3 of them online. It's segmented
The
over a
Sure
bit of time,
Shot. Yeah.
and every time worked. The one that did worked for half an evening, and then it turned off, and it wouldn't turn back on. And I was like, I've spent
God.
like $500 because they tried to price them like $100, $150, $200 sometimes.
Yeah.
I kept buying them, and I was like, I just want to take film photos, and it put me off film for multiple, like a year or 2 years, because I was just over it.
Yeah.
Because I wanted a nice film camera that wasn't a new one.
Yeah.
And then I got given an old digicam from like a family friend who was like 95, and she gave me this old thing, and it had like photos of her and her like granny friends on it.
Oh my God.
And I was like, this is great. I'm going to use this at parties. And I used that
Yeah.
for ages, and that it kind of the highlights on it was super overexposed, but it kind of helped when it was daytime. Daytime flash on it looked really good, and at nighttime, like it didn't matter how tan you were, it gave you this like angelic like glow. And I was like, this is cool. It's a bit different. And then if I did any kind of post production on it, like adding any kind of like mid-tone green or yellow or anything, it just like made it look so much more interesting.
Yeah.
So I
My
loved
Sure
that.
Shot actually died because I went to a rave and had a bottle of like tequila in my bag or something, and it filled my whole bag up with the tequila and filled my whole camera up with the tequila and my whole roll of film with the tequila. So, and then now I'm like I have like PTSD from that, and I won't,
Yeah.
because now when I take my contacts out with me, I literally won't put anything in my bag. Like that is
It's
like
the camera's the
liquid,
bag, yep.
because I'm like so paranoid. Because my contacts was $2.5 grand.
Yes, I know.
So I'm like, it was actually my dad's 21st birthday present.
Oh, he gave you a second. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
I really wanted it, and that was his birthday present to me.
Dad, I want it.
Yeah, no,
Do
it was really like nice. That was like a really like the best present I've ever got, I reckon.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you first realize you love capturing images? We kind of covered that, which was, you know, when your dad gave you the camera, so we can move
Yeah.
on from that.
Yeah.
Was there a direct inspiration for your works? Can you think of any other photographers that inspired you?
Yeah, so Wolfgang Tillmans is like my OG inspiration. Actually, this one photo, I don't even know what it's called. I don't even know if it has a name, to be honest, but it's like, I used to have it like ripped out of a magazine on my wall, but I don't know where it is now. But it's like 2 men kissing, and it's like a blue toned photo. And it's just like really raw and intense, and that's like the inspiration for all my like kissing photos from my first year of uni. And I was literally obsessed with it. I was like, I don't know if it was controversial at the time, but it was just two guys like really aggressively making out, and like I was like so in love with that photo.
Did you ask
like,
them to do that, or that was just you captured it?
people kissing.
Mm.
I would go out and I would see people making out, and I would ask them
You can take a
if
photo.
I could take a photo of it, and I would try to explain to them like, oh, it was for university and stuff. Actually, like 9 times out of 10, they would say no, fair enough, because actually someone was like, you're creepy or some shit, like, but I guess fair enough.
Fair
like,
enough.
random people fucked up on a
At
dance
least you ask.
floor.
People don't.
I always ask before I take a photo. Always ask, because like personally, if I was just out and someone took my photo and then like started using it, I would feel a bit upset. So I'm always like, hey, like, is it okay if I take a photo? Even my friends, I always ask them. I think it's really important to ask people for their consent before taking their photo when they're out and they're like fucked up on something.
It creates a good back and forth also for you as well, because you don't always want to be trying to, it's like if your friends get used to you not asking and they like tap you on the shoulder and ask you for a photo all the time,
Yeah.
you're going to start feeling like a workhorse.
Yeah.
So it may be good to create that relationship where it's like, okay, Tamara's here. If Tamara asks me, then I'm going to get a photo
Yeah.
instead of me chasing Tamara.
People definitely do ask when I like get the camera out or like take one photo, and then people will see it and they'll be like, I want one, I want one, I want one, which I love.
Of course.
Like I want that, like, but I don't want to like. A lot of my friends are like models and stuff, and they don't like they don't like their photo being taken when they're out, because that's literally their job, which is so fair. Like,
Yeah.
they just want to have a good time. But yeah, also another inspiration for me is like Robert Mapplethorpe. I don't know if you've heard of him.
I'm listening.
He's so cool. Like, I think maybe like, I don't know if he worked with Wolfgang, but like, literally shoots the most raw. Like, I have like a photo book of his that cost me so much money. It has every single photo he's ever taken in it. And like, I should have brought it down here, whatever.
That's true.
Yeah, he just took photos of like the like underground like BDSM gay like queer
Cool.
sex scene, and it's like really like brutal photos.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Like, they're really really gory and intense, and like of like people's genitals and people being like tied up and like pissed on, and like some really graphic
There's
images.
some stuff like that at Metropolis. If you've
I
been
got
to-
it from Metropolis,
There you go,
like
yeah.
that book, yeah. But that was kind of like why I started shooting stuff for like my murals, I guess. Like, even though my murals aren't as like, they're not really like gory or anything, his photos are very like cropped in and abstract and all in black and white. Like, he only shoots in black and white, and that made me be like, whoa, like they're so like cohesive, and like the tones and like the black and white just gives it kind of like a raw edge, you know?
I agree.
So that's why I kind of started doing that. Like, he was just like a big inspiration for me. Yeah, I feel like definitely those two, and also just because they're both queer, like it made me like, yeah. Oh, also Nan Golden, obviously. That's like a very classic one. But yeah, she was the first like one of the first photographers that like document. Do you know her work? Nan Golden, you don't know her work?
I'm a graphic designer, not a
True.
photographer.
Okay, still, you should look at her work. She's like so famous, and she shot through like when AIDS was like a big like epidemic, and like all of like, she shot really raw images of like, yeah, drag queens and queer people, and like just like, yeah, I'm having like a blank of all that like information.
No, you're so
but
fine.
like Nan Golden is like, yeah, one of the first people to ever document like behind the scenes queer kind of like
I definitely
sex
would have
stuff.
seen the photos.
You would have seen the work.
110%.
Yeah, and like I saw her work in like where was I, in Copenhagen, in Denmark, at a museum, which was really cool, and also in like maybe Greece or something. Yeah, it's kind of like all around the world. But now she like, her whole thing is like to preventing like AIDS and HIV awareness, and also like heroin, like opioid usage. She has like a whole.
Is that black and white as well?
No. She has like a whole charity thing. I don't know if she shoots anymore, but she has like a whole charity towards like helping people that are on the streets from like drug usage.
Do they shoot it though in black and white as well?
Oh no.
Those colour?
Maybe
Mixed?
a little bit,
Okay.
yeah. But she has a lot of like self-portraits, and she has a lot of landscape photos and stuff. But I think it's pretty much all in color.
I think it's good for stuff like that, putting it in color, because I feel like sometimes people in the past historically have made significant things black and white to make public feel like it happened ages ago. It's like, oh, this is old photos. Like we've evolved. Like humans are constantly like thinking that they're better than their predecessors, and so like putting it in color makes it feel like it's still happening.
Yeah, her like whole thing, even she took like self-portraits of when she'd been like beat up by like partners and
Holy
stuff,
shit.
and like people like struggling from like drug use and just like really like
Yeah.
behind the
I
scenes
completely
raw.
understand your inspiration now.
So like that is like, I remember when I think I like knew about her a bit when I was younger, but when I started at uni and they were like, these are like key photographers, like I was like, oh my god, like I just like resonate with her so much.
Slow.
Yeah. So that's probably the main one.
Main inspired.
Yeah.
Thank you. Your answers are amazing. I'm scared about. I know we have an hour and 34 left. We're so fine.
Sweet.
Hour and 34 left of like how much camera footage you can shoot until I have to take it off. Yeah, for me this was really interesting. How have your friendships shaped what you photograph or how you photograph?
Definitely like my friends like love being in front of the camera.
Helps.
Most of them. And like they don't need direction. Like I literally will pull my camera out and everyone just like poses like instantly, like, or if like, oh, I guess like my photos are candid, but
They are candid, but you
kind
are.
of like
It's such a huge benefit that all of your circle, everyone's gorgeous.
everyone's very aware of the camera and like
Yes.
like at uni my teachers were always like, how do you get people to like look straight into the lens? Like everyone's always like so like
Locked
looking
in.
at the lens, but it's and like my like peers and teachers always say like it feels like they're like you're comfortable with them because like the person in the photo looks so comfortable with the lens and like they're like looking into your soul. And like yeah, I guess like just having that connection with all my friends and like having like so much like love and support, like I just like love capturing that. And just everyone's like own individual style. I am always so obsessed with all my friends. Like I genuinely love them so much, and the way they like present themselves and like express who they are and like in their art and everything. And like everyone kind of does something a little bit different. But everyone supports each other's work like so much, like, and like helps each other out in everything. And like yeah, just like being able to like take that from them. And like growing up I felt like I didn't have a very strong friend group,
You've created like a community.
and now
itself.
I have this like really tight knit group, and I feel like they would like take a bullet for me, like,
Love.
and I would do that for them too. Yeah, so just like they inspire me like every day, and I want to take photos of them because I love them so much. Like,
They are all your muse.
yeah, literally every single one of my friends are like my best friends. Like they're all my muse, and like especially like special mention to Amelia, like
Yes.
ill behavior or trill behavior now
Chill behavior now,
on
yeah,
Instagram.
yeah.
But like she helped me like kind of come out of my shell, like, cause she loves being in photos and like loves being on Instagram and like loves being perceived and everything. And when I first like moved in with her, like I didn't know her or anyone I moved in with, but yeah, like she kind of helped me like become more confident in myself. Like yeah, that was like the period of where I was like kind of coming out of my shell and like finding out
Those
who
photos.
I
I
was.
remember when they were coming out more and more, particularly Amelia. I feel like whether it's intentional or not, like even though you're doing photography, there's parts of it that remind me of design, because these people kind of became like characters within your brand identity. And so like you would see, oh, there's them again. And so it
Yeah.
kind of became like these figureheads.
Yeah.
And so like in terms of like telling a story, I definitely think there was times where it's like, what are they doing right now? Like you may not even know the people. For me as well, like I didn't know these people that you were photographing, but the way you've captured it made me feel like I was a part of this group, and I was like, oh, this is what they're doing now. And then you'd go onto their Instagram and you'd see what they're following, and you'd feel like you don't,
Yeah.
but you feel like you understand these
Yeah.
people and what they're doing, and it's such a small insight into this like world, and it's super inspiring.
It's crazy though because I do capture like the best of the best moments. So like there is a lot of background shit going on all the time that people don't really realize like is happening, and a lot of drama. It's always drama, of course, but like yeah, definitely like everyone, because I lived in a share house when I first moved to Melbourne with a group of people from Geelong who I love as well, but we just like didn't really align. They're just kind of doing different things to me, and then I like
You lived with Caleb as well, did you? Or was that someone else?
uh, no, I met Caleb like last year. These are people you wouldn't know at all. Like
Okay,
they're
okay,
not.
okay, okay.
I don't think I have any photos of them on my Instagram or anywhere. But yeah, I realized that like I needed to like take a risk and like move in with people who I felt like were like my like vibe, I guess. And then I saw like Amelia and Kaylin and Dom. I don't know if you know who they are, but yeah, like they had a share house. I actually went to a kick or a party at that house like 1 week before, and I was like, oh my god, this house is amazing. There was like 6 people that lived there, and like the vibe was so cool.
I remember this.
And
the
then-
favorite housemate era when you like loved, everyone loved. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I went to a party there, and then the next week they posted on the Instagram like, we're looking for a housemate like now, if anyone wants to move in. And I went and met them all, and they were like, yeah, you seem like a vibe, but I literally didn't know any of them. So I moved into a house of like 6 people I don't know at all. Like I didn't know any of like, that whole circle, and it was so scary. I think I was like 18 or 19, maybe even 18. I don't know, but yeah. So then then we went into COVID, so I had to be friends with them, and I had to hang out with them every day, which like honestly it was like one of the hardest years of my life, but one of the best years because it made me like get to know all of like their friends who are now my friends, and like without moving into that house and like taking that risk, I would have never like really like got maybe like made friends with any of these people.
You definitely
like,
would be where you are, like right this instant, or at least taking the same photos of the same people.
Yeah, because
that cast wouldn't be the same.
I started taking photos of them like in COVID at our house, and people actually like told me they were gonna like call the police on us and stuff because they were like, you're having a party, and I'm like, no, it's literally just me and my housemates. Like there's just so many of us that live here, and we just like party on the weekend because like we can, and like what else are we doing anyway?
Did the police come and you had to just say
We
"We
actually
all live
did.
here"?
The police ran through our whole house. They actually were like, we're coming inside because someone like reported us, and the police knocked on the door, and like everyone was like, I don't know if I can talk about drugs on this, but like everyone was like on a bit of K, and then so everyone had to. I was like like pretty much sober, so everyone was just like lying on the couch, and I like had to open the door and be like, oh, everyone's like sleeping. Like I don't know, it was just like really like yeah, it was confronting.
That's so
like
funny.
But they were like, we're coming in, and they went through the whole house and looked in every single room and stuff.
To see that there was enough
But
rooms?
they saw that we all had like 2 rooms each in that house basically. There was like
That was a lot
literally
there.
a lot of rooms. So
Oh my fucking
when they
God.
saw how many of us there are and then how massive the house was, they were like, oh, it's fine. Like yeah.
That's good. Damn, that's fucking terrifying. Actual dobbers from next door.
But that's like the start of everything.
100%.
I guess. Yeah.
It's cool to hear because I feel like lots of people like see these people and it's like, where did it begin?
Yeah, I don't know if people perceive that like all my friends as like I don't know how they perceive because they're all my friends. And
Well, people wouldn't have known how recent and fast friends you were. That's for sure. Because
well, it has been like that was 2020, sort of, or end of 2019.
I know, but that feels like so
That's
close,
like
even though it was
3-4 years, I guess.
I know.
Now.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
The first time we met now, technically, over 4 years.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. And we barely bump into each other, but I still like pay attention to what you're doing. And if I actually put out work, I'm sure you would do the same.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you should do it.
I'm just locked
Just do
in
it.
to not fucking sharing my stuff because it's all uni related.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I wrote this one today. So you're friends with a few big names in like music, to a degree, within Melbourne, and some like interesting people. How has having access to those spaces they provided benefited your photography? Because I feel like you wouldn't get to be behind the decks at things or maybe go to these house parties and stuff if you didn't. So like, how's it benefited your like photo series or things you've gotten to access? Because that's
It's
so
so
much of
funny because
photography.
just like view everyone as like my friends, and
Exactly.
like it doesn't really feel like big names, but I guess everyone is doing really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess even like some friends, like Amelia's friends with people from like Brisbane and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you know like Skin on Skin.
Yes.
Like I was hanging out with him.
What were they called before that?
yesterday.
UV boy or something?
Huh?
They were called UV boy or something before that.
Something like that. His name is Emmanuel or Manny.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, literally hanging out with him on Sunday. Yeah, and
Super
chill.
cute.
Yeah, he's down here. He lives in Paris now, but
Oh.
I haven't actually hung out with him properly before. I just am friends of friends with him. But yeah, kind of just like, I feel like a lot of people that are big in music, kind of when you're hanging out with them, like they don't really like to associate with that as much. Like
Of course.
they just want to be like themselves.
But I mean more so.
Or you mean like within spaces? Or
I
like,
mean
yeah.
more in the sense that like a lot of photography and like making something desirable is an element of it is like exclusive access. You know, you being able to get to a place or an area to shoot
Yeah.
that not everyone can.
Yeah.
Therefore, that's what makes it desirable.
True.
Because it's like, oh, how did they know? So
Yeah.
for you, how do you feel like these people have benefited your work? Can you maybe an example of some like photos or a story from like a shoot that made you like?
Yeah, I guess like I've been hired to shoot some stuff.
Because of the people that
Because
you
of who I know, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, like I guess I can go behind the decks and take pictures because my friends are DJing and stuff. But also like I feel like it's beneficial for them because they can use the photos for their like promotional stuff
it's
as well.
better rapport with your friends as well.
Yeah, and I also used to work at Miscellanea as a bartender
Oh,
for a
okay.
little
That's
bit.
awesome.
So that also kind of maybe got me an in, I
You
guess,
meet a lot of
for a
people in
little
music if you
bit.
work there, especially.
Yeah. But yeah, just like, cause Misk is kind of like the only space I would say right now that is like having a lot of events. I
Yeah,
haven't
for
really
a while. I
been
feel
there.
like Colour was okay for a little bit. It's gone now.
Yeah, it was like Lounge, and then it was like Radar, and then it was Color, and then Misk.
Yeah.
And now everything's kind of gone. But yeah, just like working, even like the people that work at Miss DJ a bit and stuff. But yeah, I don't really know. It's really hard to answer that question because in the moment I feel like I'm not being given like any exclusive
Maybe has there been any
access.
like maybe like out of body moments where you're like, I can't believe I'm here right now and I'm taking these photos. You've just always been so chill
I don't
about
know.
it.
I don't
love
really
that.
think about it like that. Yeah, people like.
It's a good thing.
I guess also with James, like James is one of my best friends too.
Yeah.
I remember I went to one event at XE.
I was there.
Yeah, it's so funny just because I went because my friend like Leyland like lived with James, so we would always hang out a lot. And then like Kedema was playing. I actually like
Yeah.
don't know him at all. Like
I was there for Kenema, and
Yeah.
then Skin to Skin was also there, and then it was there, and then on James, and I was like, this is nuts, and then it turned into like Travis Scott Crowd Crush
yeah.
on the fucking stage floor.
It was like crazy, but like they were like not even trying to let us in. Like my friend is literally James's housemate, and security were like trying to all be like, no, you can't come in. Like, who are you? Vibes. Like it was really intense actually. Like even walking through the crowd, I didn't go there to photograph. I just went there to support James and hang out with James. But like even walking through the crowd was like a struggle to make it through the people because they all have like a massive fan base. It's insane.
And they booked for 4, because that place has like 4 rooms, and they booked for that capacity, but everyone was in one room,
Yeah.
which is stupid.
It is crazy. Sometimes I like forget that like people like have so many fans. Like yeah.
It's funnily enough, it's such a funny one to think of. You know how like there's some songs that like, this is an interesting comparison, but like say you like have your like first cigarette in the morning, or you have Nick, or like you do some like substance or something, and there's always like a song you want to listen to, and like those artists have those particular songs that a lot of people like listening to as well.
Yeah.
Kind of like how like Bicep has that one song that everyone's like loves to space out to.
Glue. That song.
I definitely feel like those guys have that as well.
Yeah.
Especially James. They have quite a lot of. They're really good at their production. They create like really good atmospheric stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good with that.
Yeah, I definitely love like that all my friends are doing so well, but I guess maybe I just like don't think about it deep enough.
I think that's a good thing.
For some reason.
I know. I think it would take away from it maybe in the moment if you would, because then it wouldn't be like real friendships if you're viewing these people like that anyway.
I'm like so proud of all my friends who DJ and that are like always so supportive of them, like or like friends that are learning to DJ and stuff. Like we'll always go to everything and support all of them and like acknowledge that they're doing really good for themselves, but also like just also feel like we're friends. So like it's kind of hard to be like see them in a like way that is they're like famous. Like I don't know. I don't know if that's like sounds fucked to say that, but
No, I get it.
yeah, I just like feel that we're all just like on the same level.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah,
I'm glad that you're able to do that because I feel like it would be so easy the same way like how people view Instagram
yeah,
numbers.
that is true.
And it's so ironic that in person with these people, you're like, oh no, it's
Yeah.
fine, which is amazing.
Yeah,
Evidence to them as well, being able to create that space.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
we're literally halfway through, so I don't want to derail you on. I don't know when you have to go to
Oh,
Thingo.
no, I have it all the time.
Okay, thank you very much, Dylan. All right, so I wrote, would you say portraits are your bread and butter? Would you ever want to experiment with other kinds of photography?
I already have tried. So in my second year of uni, I tried to experiment with like landscape and like textures, I guess. Are they working?
Testing the microphone, I get nervous.
Yeah, so I made these like I was also learning how to do color darkroom, which I can't do it. It's really hard. It's really hard. I did like gave up on that, but I was shooting these works of like rocks and like kind of like orange and red hues, and then kind of like having it side by side with like and I was also learning how to shoot on medium format film cameras.
That is
So I
cool.
shot everything on
Was
medium
that
format.
your Mamiya RZ7 thing you had?
Yeah,
Was that the medium format one?
Yeah.
I love that
It's like
camera.
where you look
Down
down,
at it, yeah.
and it's and you have to have like a light meter and
Oh, it's so beautiful.
everything.
But yeah, you need the whole
So I went
kit
out
for it.
to like the Great Ocean Road because I'm like from like that kind of area.
Yep.
And like had someone like full like holding the light meter, and it was like on the beach, and I was like holding my camera and stuff, and like the photos were like interesting, but like I just felt like I was like, this is boring, like
Right.
yeah, and I just love like capturing like
A bit more movement,
people,
it
yeah,
seems.
like
Yeah.
the like chaotic like party scene and like my friends and stuff because they're like so important to me. So like I did try, like I genuinely did try, and I also have done some like video work which I really want to post on Instagram, but it's on my old laptop, and my old I don't know where it went. Like
Oh no.
all my stuff's just kind of all over the
All over
place
I
because
guess you packed up and then...
yeah, I packed up and sold everything. But yeah, I shot some like video work of one of my friends who is like a pole dancer at like Centerfold. She's like fully like Miss Centerfold and stuff now. But yeah, this like artistic like video on like a like a
Handycam.
sorry, not a digicam, a mini DV, like tape
Yeah,
tape
yep.
cam quarter. I would really like to do that again, but like getting the tape like converted to
digital
your
is also expensive.
so yeah, it's so expensive, and you can get all the cords and stuff for it, but I just like can't
No,
understand
it's
that.
expensive.
Yeah, so like I have tried, but like what works best for me is it just works. Like my photos just always come out great when I'm shooting
You've got lots of time to experiment as well.
yeah, and I just like, I guess like I stopped shooting portraits when I mean they're not really, they are portraits, but they're not when I was shooting my finals for uni, like where it was more like people's bodies and about
Completely.
like clothing and fashion and all of that.
Still think about the tracky, the 3-line track with the jorts. That has
Joel,
been
really?
that fit. I remember when I saw
my
that,
God.
and I remember at home.
I feel like I have a spare A4 print if you want one, honestly. I have a bunch of prints.
I mean,
like,
I literally would sit at home while I was feeling like sad about like my weight or whatever it was, and I would put on that fit, not go out, and I'd be like, "You look so fucking cool right now, Tristan."
oh my God, you should wear it. Oh my God, I'm such an advocate for like
The layering.
wear, or I'm just like wear
So
whatever the
cool.
fuck you want. Like who gives a fuck? Like I know it's like really hard for people.
No,
to,
but during COVID, I think it was like the
Yeah.
perfect time. Like I
Yeah.
did weird shit with my hair. You weren't seeing these people that you thought were going to give you shit anyway.
Yeah.
And like Instagram stopped being scary. You just put it out there. You weren't going to bump into anyone.
Yeah.
So you had like a 2-year window of just do what the fuck you want. And I did that and seeing your stuff. But yeah, that fit, even though it makes sense, like people, it reminds me of the 2000s, like denim skirts over like tutu leggings and shit.
Yeah. I think it's like really like popularized now.
It has.
Though. A lot of people are. I think it's from TikTok again.
Again,
It's like made that kind of
talk to Isaac about the TikTok renaissance that's ruined things.
yeah, like the like fashion like trends or whatever of like being cool and like exposing, not exposing, but like just giving people that, I mean, obviously everyone can have access to everything, but
Yeah.
people have like too much access to like how to dress and like all like designers and stuff that like otherwise they wouldn't really like run into, because like it's just like not, I don't know, that sounds like really pretentious,
No, I
but
know. I had the
like,
same. I was trying to talk to Isaac about this stuff, and I realized I sounded really fucking pretentious talking about it because I sounded like I was trying to exclude.
yeah,
Because it's so easy to be like, you don't get it, therefore you shouldn't ingest it.
yeah,
But I think there is a difference, you know. It's always the people. I remember this guy called Nathan, and he was a model for like Converse, and he had a shaved head, and he was someone that I think I followed back in. They were friends with your long-haired housemate. I just forgot his name. Oh, their name. And you're
brown
not
long
Amelia.
hair,
Brown long hair, curly.
a guy,
Yeah.
Kaylin,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think they were friends with them, and I remember just like being amazed at their clothes because all their shit was expensive, but like not like ridiculous. Like it was a lot of just like, it was always like really interesting silhouettes more than anything,
yeah,
and they were from like Frankston or something. Like they weren't anywhere close. And I started like mirroring these like outfits, and I felt more and more and more comfortable. And I was like, wow, I could have never done this without COVID and stuff.
yeah. I feel like everyone just grabs their inspiration from like media and magazines and stuff. Honestly, like all of my friends, like I feel like so basic compared to how my friends dress. Like I feel like a lot of them like they are stylists, some of them, and they dress like. When I see their outfit, I'm like, whoa, how did you even think of that? I'm like, even like asking for all their opinion, like, should I wear this? Should I wear this? Because like they dress so like, they just like dress in a way I wouldn't even think about dressing. Like I think I just a bit more like low key, and I would like to dress more like that, but
Right.
I just like my brain just like doesn't like
I mean, you
get
also
it.
you do what you do. Like if in terms of your craft, like it's not the biggest deal.
Yeah.
It's good that you're able to capture them, and vice versa. They don't be able to do what you're able to do. Griffin for Herman Studios was talking about why they make the clothing they make and how they design it, because they don't dress like that. And he said, I designed these clothes for the best version of me and what they would wear. Like the
That's so
person that isn't
nice.
anxious, the person that like wants to wear the loud stuff. Like the best version of me is making this, and like that's why they created the alias, and that's why it's easier for designers a lot of the time to not use their name or creative people, because it removes a lot of the shit that you have going on from it, because you can just put all of the ideas into this person and they create the stuff.
Yeah.
For sure.
I love that. I didn't know that.
I thought it was
That's
really cool.
interesting.
Because they do have loud stuff, and we met up there in like a Nike fleece, and I was like, how are you? How do you make this stuff? Your house is beautiful. And they're like, I was like, chill. Super chill.
That's cute.
I'm excited to edit that one.
Yeah.
Okay. How is it studying photography? Did it make you less or more passionate? The reason I asked that is because when I did design, met someone that was a bit older and they'd done photography, and made them fucking hate photography.
So yeah, I have been really struggling with it. I made a decision like the past month to like get back into it, like make myself do it, you know. But yeah, well, like I was saying before, I went overseas for 4 months and I met all these like different people, different cultures, and I have my cameras with me.
Yeah.
And I literally took one roll of film in 4 months because I was just like, I've been struggling recently with like when I'm in a moment and I'm enjoying myself out with my friends. I feel like bringing my camera out like makes it kind of like I'm ruining the moment, and because I'll like go to take a photo and then everyone will like pose for the photo, and I just kind of want to enjoy that like moment with them.
Maybe
So
sometimes you could change your language. I feel like asking, can I take a photo, sets a precedent. Maybe
Yeah.
there's times like that where you could say, you guys look so gorgeous right now, and then you take a
oh,
photo.
like I definitely do that still, but it's not even about that. It's more about me just like wanting to focus more on like my relationships with my friends and being in the moment with them rather than like capturing the moments with them. And like, but yeah, so like at uni I like pushed and pushed and pushed myself to take like so many photos so I could have photos for my final works, just and like yeah, just being forced to like go into uni and shoot for uni, and it became like a chore. And then I graduated in November, and I don't think I took a photo until like literally maybe around this time, honestly, I started shooting again, like 8 months maybe.
I think you should use that anxiety that creative people have and can either ignore or like use. You should definitely try and maybe think about, okay, if I'm feeling like I'm ruining these moments, even though I'm not, because you aren't, but if you feel that way, use that as a thing to push you into practicing setting up shoots that you were talking about. Because then there's no qualms. It's like, okay, this is why we're here. Like, I'm not going to feel guilty about this. And then I feel like a byproduct of that is you get comfortable in your craft. So when you have the confidence in it, when you're with your friends, you're not thinking, oh my, you know your photos are good. They know your photos are good. You feel a bit more like a professional.
I think that's what I'm gonna do right now. So right now, what I'm focusing on, or what I'm going to do, I've only been back in Melbourne for 3 weeks. So
Yeah, nuts.
I'm still like trying to get myself together, but I'm gonna mostly shoot like my sex worker friends. And because like when you're a sex worker, you need photos of yourself to promote yourself. So like that's how you get like private jobs and like have people come into the club and like see you and stuff. And I actually have been taking photos for the club I'm working at.
That's so
like
lucky.
I took some photos the other day. I actually need to go drop my film off after this, but yeah, I like want to do that more, like set up shoots and like more paid work, I guess. Like
Being around people that aren't as familiar with your stuff, because that kind of helps you tell them what to do.
I've had a lot of sex workers ask me if we could set up a shoot, but I just like lack the vision, you know, being like, oh, like, because the sex worker industry right now, the photography is like dominated by men, like the whole thing. And it's just like a man with like a nice camera and a nice lens and a nice flash, and like we'll just make like two girls like look like they're like making out, and then like edit it really like what's the word, like where it's like stylized like that, and just really gross colors, and like that is like the classic sex worker photography shoot. So I really want to like infiltrate that, and like even being a dancer, like
They would love that, I feel.
I even get messages like from the photographers like let's do a shoot and stuff, and I'm like, no, like I don't want you like perceiving me. Even my manager at my club told me they had a guy come in and started shooting, and then they felt like he was creepy towards them, and it's like in the club, like, and they hired him to shoot and stuff. So like yeah, I really just want to, like, I do want to take photos of my friends still, but I think I want to lean more towards that right now, and it's more like set up and I'm not ruining the moment, and it's like a full like I'm creating something with someone
like those
and helping
spaces,
them.
if it's obviously it's a created safe space and you're able to share those things, that's like an insight, especially in Melbourne. I feel it would be so interesting.
Yeah.
You can capture so many better things, because when I think of, because I don't know any personal like those types of photographies, but I always think of it would look like the old Facebook club photos where like the lens is a bit too wide. It's a flash photo.
Yeah.
They look fine, but they kind of look like plastic. There's like they kind of remove the texture.
Yeah.
I can imagine that it's something like that.
It is like that.
Yeah, and that's fucking boring.
It lacks creativity so much. That's why I love what like Grace, like Pleasing Pain on Instagram, is doing. Like she's like making all the shoots like really individual and creative, and like adhering to like that personal like person's style, and like adding like flowers and chains and getting like full makeup artists in, like just adding like a creative aspect to it. So yeah, definitely.
Even the posing based on their personality.
Yeah, exactly.
You could ask like, what's your favorite pose that you do on stage?
Yeah. Because she's been shooting within a studio, but I really want to shoot in the club. My old club wouldn't let me because it's like a big corporate kind of club, but the club I'm at now is really intimate and like supportive, and they just want to like, they're like, yeah, do whatever you want, like whatever you need help with, kind of thing. So I think
Would you do flash?
Huh?
Would you do flash photography for it?
Yeah.
'Cause I think it would benefit better than, I liked the one that you did on the it's not here, but the stockings on the bed. That looked really good, but I feel like if you do home ones, it can start to turn into like a casting couch situation instead of like an art like advertisement for them.
Yeah.
Because like sex work isn't porn, and I don't like when it gets mixed.
I guess I'll show you after what I mean, but
Yeah,
I
cool.
like just even being shot on film will change the whole vibe. Like, but like definitely like it is a little bit like porn, I guess, which I'm totally fine with.
Yeah.
Because like the photos are probably going to be shot for the male gaze anyway, because that is where the money is made, and that they need the photos for that. But also like would like to do some of my own creative work a little bit, and like I know what you mean, like on the bed, like I was trying to photograph like the shoes and make it a bit more creative, but
Yeah, and
also
that's really
take
nice.
photos for her kind
Yeah.
of thing as well.
It's good that
Yeah.
you could get both. I found when I was setting up this, I did a practice shoot at my house, and I have a couch inside my room, just because I thought I saw share house people doing it, and I was like, I want to do that, so I don't have to go
Yeah.
into my dad's lounge room. And I set the camera up in front of it, and my brain immediately was just like, this feels like so fucking weird. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
setting like shooting a porno in front of my couch. Not because I do that. I just was like, this immediately feels weird sitting on a couch doing that. Like just the inappropriateness of my head went there.
Yeah.
I was like, how can I stage this to not feel like that? And I feel like it's definitely like an interesting line when you're
Yeah.
shooting and setting up stuff. It's like, okay, how much of this is going to be for them, and then how much of it's going to be for like me.
Yeah, I guess if it's like they're paying me, then it's for them. But like that other shoot I did, I was like, this is for me, so I will do this for free, but you can use it as well. But I would appreciate you like doing some artistic poses for me, and then doing also what you want. So it was like a mutual thing.
Yeah.
But I definitely would like to kind of tee away from the free work, because I do a lot of free work.
At this point in time, we had a design business guy come in and talk to us, and he was like, you should, 2 years is like the maximum amount of time that you should be cutting your pay and doing things. Even the first year, you should barely be doing things for free, if not ever.
Just because also film right now is like, it's
yeah.
29 a roll and 15 to develop at a place. So you're getting into like 40.
And 15 is
40.
not bad either, and it can get way more expensive
So
than
it's
that.
going to be like $40 per roll to develop as is. So you're already kind of losing that. So yeah, definitely like need to like, and then also like my camera is so expensive, my time and like all that. You just need to like factor it all in. Yeah.
This can be a short response. I was just thinking about, I remember even when I was taking, like, back in the day, I'd take a photo if I had, like, my shirt off, and then I had to get it developed. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what is this, like, man going to be thinking about the photos I take? Is that ever something that you think about? Like, the
Not
object?
at all.
No? You don't-
Actually, so like
You're comfortable with the person
so
you're with now?
I used to get my film developed at Film Never Die, and I know Tim, who does like the scanning and looks through all the photos, and like they're queer, so they said that they see like everything, like they don't care, like people put through everything and anything. I now go to a different place because it's on Smith Street, so like because I
Much
live in
closer.
Fitzroy.
Film Never Dies so far away.
I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's like Halid or something like that. But they're really good as well. But like they would see everything. I don't think about it at all. Like, and if they like, they're not gonna like. It's actually not something that crosses my mind.
I'm glad. I think I thought about it because I went to this random one, this Fujifilm place in Paran off High Street, and there was like this Indian dad watching like the footy on his phone, and then I walked in and I was like,
I'm sure they've seen everything though.
As
Like if
well.
you think about it, like even like before, I don't know how long they've been in production for, but before we had like iPhones and stuff, and everyone was shooting
that's
on
what
film,
everyone had to do exactly.
they would have seen it. There would be everything on that.
For me, I found this really interesting. What would you say it's like being the person who is capturing memories of your growing Melbourne art scenes? I feel like it's kind of like a privilege, but how do you feel like being the person that's capturing this progress?
Yeah, it definitely is. I feel really lucky to be able to capture that. I definitely didn't feel like I was capturing anything like important until people say to me like, because when I started shooting, like even like through 2021, and when I started posting more, and like people would like come up to me in the club or in the street even and be like, oh my God, I love your photos. And I would always be so like, whoa, like taken aback. Like I'm always so grateful when people appreciate my art, because like obviously we talked about like self-doubt and stuff.
Completely.
But yeah, I definitely like love being able to capture everybody in their like, and like having everyone be so comfortable with me taking their photo. Like it does feel like, so I'm like so grateful for it, like, and I feel so lucky to be able to capture it. But I feel like there's a lot of people doing it now, like taking a lot of photos. Like I don't know, I feel like I've like fallen off the chart a bit. Like a lot of different people are.
I mean, yeah, but
Capturing
there's like
stuff.
nothing beats the original. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You can tell. And like there are
Yeah.
people that do it, and there's everyone that's made their stake on Instagram, their film Instagram.
yeah.
It's not the fucking
Because
same.
film has become really popular now.
Yeah, but there's a
So,
difference.
yeah.
It's quality over quantity. Like
Yeah.
fucking Shein, all that shit. Like there's a difference.
Yeah.
It's very noticeable, and for the people that can't tell, doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Their opinions don't
I
fucking matter.
also feel like being in the community and being a queer person, like it's valid for me to shoot queer people, but people that are like trying to shoot queer people that like aren't as much in the community or
Yeah.
like
Well, not at all.
tokenizing people, like obviously I'm not a person of color, so like I mean a lot of my friends are people of color and I take photos of them. I don't really feel like I'm tokenizing them because they're my friends, but maybe if I went into like other scenes I
Oh
would
God, if you
feel a
went,
bit like out of place, but I
Yep.
think that kind of right now there's some people tokenizing
Oh, 100%.
some
It's in everything.
communities.
It's in all the design stuff. Like I was talking to Isaac about the rave scene and how it got ruined. It got
It did.
TikTokified.
It did get TikTok. Oh my god,
The All Stay one
actually
with Maddie Jackson was like the last big one I went to. And
it
that was a
actually
fucking
like
shit show.
hurts me so much because like when we came out of COVID,
It was,
the raves were like, or even before
it
that,
was
like
right before COVID
the
ended as
raves
well.
were like so good. Or the
Mhm.
raves before COVID was like not good. People were
I've never
getting
been to that. I only went to the ones during COVID and then a little bit after
true
COVID.
people like 2017, 18, 19.
Mm.
People were getting like stabbed and stuff. It was like
Fucking
a
hell.
terrifying space. But like then just after COVID, it was like really good. Like
Yeah,
I felt like
2021.
the raves weren't very big and like
And the
it
same
was
groups
just,
of people. You'd
yeah,
see, you'd be like, oh, I'd
literally.
like to see you here.
Yeah, but now through TikTok, literally through TikTok and like Instagram promotion, because it used to be like you'd find out
Literally
about
like
the rave
30
like
minutes, half an hour before.
yeah,
And that
but
was it.
now it's like promoted like weeks in advance or
And then
whatever.
limit who could follow the page.
Yeah, and then now I feel like you go to a rave and everyone is like 15 or 16 and fucked up and there's like a million people there. I remember I went to this one rave and there was literally like I swear there was like maybe like 2,000-3,000 people there.
Wow.
And the police like raided, like stormed through the rave. This was like, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago. I like just arrived because I finished work and got there late, but like you couldn't even hear the music because there was so many people there. You couldn't even get an Uber home. Like you couldn't get anywhere because of like it just blew up and
Yeah.
everyone is so like obsessed with like the whole thing. And even seeing people posting on TikTok like night out with me in the underground rave scene or something.
Yeah, I know.
And then it's like it's not like for me personally it's not like that. It's more just like my friends are usually DJing.
Yeah.
I want to go see them play. I want to see my friends, but then it gets like infiltrated. And also I have such an issue with people like littering at raves now. Like I feel like we used to go to a rave and then everyone would like clean up really well at the end and we would leave the space how it was.
Because
But
there'd
now
be like a cycle of 200 people and there'd only be 50 people at a
yeah,
time.
and now it's like you're like destroying the landscape when people go. It actually like hurts me. I'm like, these people just don't care. Like at the last rave I went to, someone had like a Nang stand where they were selling balloons and cracking the Nang, and it was like $2 a Nang or something. I was like,
They've
it was
capitalized
actually
it.
fucked. I was like, what is this? Like,
That's terrifying.
yeah, I don't think I've been to a rave. Or like also the last rave that I went to was that Algrib one, which I don't know if you heard about. Like
yeah.
the like assault that happened there, which was like I think that was like probably, I mean I know there's been other raves since then. I've been overseas, I've seen on people's stories, but I haven't been to a rave since I've been back. But that was like I think that threw everything.
Yeah, that stopped it. That when I saw, I was like, there was still going on, and then that happened, and I feel like immediately it was like a full stop for all like the older people going to it, like the more recent. And I've talked about my friends with this how it's been such a chance of like right place, right time. Now that person, I can't remember exactly. There were the Asian background. I can't remember.
China and Quinn.
Yeah,
I'm really good friends with Quinn. I don't really know China that well, but
I'd met them at an algorithm thing maybe a couple of months, maybe like 6 months before that, they were like 17, and I didn't know. When we were talking, I was with a bunch of my friends, and they looked amazing, and I was like, "You look great," and we were just chatting, and I found out they wanted to do comms design, and I was like, "Oh, you
Yeah.
want to do comms design? What are you studying right now?" And they were like, I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, first of all, you shouldn't be here. Second of all, like I talked to them about what they do, and I was like, wow, what an interesting like person to see what they wanted to do, like super inspiring." And that was just like a random person that I met at this swamp of people. And then I see after just stopped, because the All Stay one I stopped was the last one I went to, and then I saw that they were in. Okay, they'd been bashed, they'd been beaten up, and I was like, that is
Yeah.
crazy that I've bumped into all these
It's
people.
actually crazy because it literally happened like probably 10 minutes after I was hanging out with Quinn. Like, we were like, I got to the rave and we were like chatting, and then she was like, I want to go sit down and like have a chat with you about, I don't know, something. I can't remember. But then I got just like distracted by like a lot of different people were coming around and talking and stuff. And then I kind of, I had to walk back to my friend's car, and it like took us so long for some reason. And then by the time we got back, it was shut down. And one of my friends was like, Quinn just got beat up. And I was like, so confused. I was like, what
was
is
just with
going
them.
on? Like,
Yeah.
I was like kind of in disbelief. And then, yeah, it got like posted about, and like, yeah, it was actually
It's terrifying.
like, yeah, because there's just like a lot of like essays, I guess.
It showed how bad the community got in the span of
Yeah.
like less than a year. It went from safe space right back to not being a safe space.
It also kind of showed that like the people running that rave didn't have the capacity to create a safe space,
No.
or maybe didn't care.
I
I don't know if
know
I want
Alberta's
to
been cancelled before.
call that out, but I don't know. I don't support them at all. Actually, like I'm kind of like,
Our friendship group's the same.
yeah, I think a lot of people don't really support them. There's been a lot of allegations
Yeah.
about them. But yeah, that whole thing
Was a lot.
like was just like the end of the rave, I think.
Um,
I don't know what the question was, but yeah,
we're just fucking yarning. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
Okay, it was. Oh yeah, we were just talking about like being the person being able to capture memories, which we answered perfectly
Yes.
well. No, it's good. It's good that we can chat about it. So I didn't know what to call it, so I wrote dancer/performer. Is there a word that you would
Just
describe?
dancer,
Just
yeah.
dancer, yeah. You also currently work as a dancer. How has that influenced your work? Because that's like a recent
Yeah.
development.
Yeah, I started in 2021, which was like really daunting when I started it, but yeah, it definitely influenced my work a lot because I started taking photos a little bit of dances before I was a dancer. Well, I started pole dancing first as like
Which is nuts. That's
fitness,
so
it's
much
like
strength for
a
that crap.
fitness thing, but then I was like really nervous to actually start dancing. Yeah.
And when you're doing the Amelia stuff, you guys were like training you
Yeah, we
try.
had a pole in our
Yeah,
house for a bit.
yeah.
That was really fun. That was like maybe in COVID as well.
I'd be so scared of that shit falling.
Yeah. Oh, it did actually. Somebody came to our house and swung it off the wall and smashed it into the wall. One of our friends. Even though we said don't touch the pole because it's like not even supposed to be in this bar. But anyway, they smashed it and then we never. The pole was gone.
Fucking hell.
After that. But yeah, so I was kind of shooting dances a bit, and then a lot of my friends are dancers, and I really wanted to do it. And like even in like 2020, I was like talking about doing it, so I went and I was like, my friend started doing it, so I just went to like a smaller club, which is a club I actually work at right now, and just like see how it went. And then that club kind of was like not really like big enough for me, I guess, so I moved to like the biggest club, which like just went from 0 to 100 in one. But that was like really inspiring to me, and like meeting all these women, and like there's such a community there, and like that is like literally how we get through the night, is like being surrounded by all these women that are going through the same experience as you. And then like it made me like want to take photos of them and like want to capture it more in my work, and also made me really comfortable with nudity and sexuality, and like being like more confident in your body, and like kind of like gives you a bit of an ego boost, honestly. But
of course.
I even took some photos, which I was gonna print as a mural, but like I took a photo of my friend, literally her whole like pussy, just like a close up on a medium format
Slay.
of
Yeah.
her pussy. Like that's it. It's like literally like really graphic. And I showed it to my class at uni. I didn't end up printing it. I projected it as like a wall piece,
Yeah.
just so like before I like wasted my time printing it. But like they kind of just felt like it lacked like meaning or whatever, but I was kind of just going for like Robert Mapplethorpe, like intense
I
graphic.
think honestly the print would have been able to sell it. That's the thing. Like the
Yeah.
the physical print, like there's something about projection work versus physically fucking seeing it.
I just got really like sick of printing stuff out and spending money.
If it takes so long and
and
it's
then
expensive.
being told like, oh, like no, that one shouldn't be in there.
Of course, no, I
So
completely understand why you
that's
did
why
it,
I was
especially for that type of photo.
projecting. But yeah, I just like really became not obsessed, but like really interested in taking photos of like bodies and stuff because I was so surrounded by it and it was so like normalized to me. And then like one of my friends, I did a shoot for her. She does shibari, I think it's called, and
Right.
like where you're like tied up, like the ropes, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
art
yeah,
of
yeah.
being tied up, and like took some photos for her doing that, and like that kind of kicked that off for me, because she really enjoyed that and I really enjoyed that. Her partner like does like shibari, I think it's called shibari art or something, and yeah, that just like influenced all of that, and that's kind of why I want to shoot it now.
It's cool seeing like the creative scene mixed with it. a
Yeah,
lot.
and being a dancer and shooting dances, I think is important. I felt like very, I think it was only probably like 1 or 2 months where I shot some dances and I wasn't a dancer, and I was like, okay, I need to like be in this to understand this, and I already wanted to be in it. So like now I'm in it, I feel like I have like the right to shoot it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I think you're knowing, from your perspective now, you know what you're looking for, you know how you want to be shown. You know what's
Yeah.
always shown, so you can kind of subvert that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely made me like more confident in like speaking to people and stuff as well. But also, being a dancer made like social life really hard because I work. Like you make your money on a Friday and a Saturday night, and then you finish at like, I don't know, my old club I would finish around 7 a.m.
Just
usually,
nuts.
and then I would like go to kick-ons or something. So I would miss like. Before I went overseas, I worked like 5 nights a week for like a few months. So I didn't even hang out with anyone for so long. Like, and it was really like upsetting. Like, you kind of like either you work or you hang out with your friends. Like, you kind of don't really get to do both.
I guess
so,
for the sake of travel, it's warranted.
yeah,
But you do need the balance.
I do want to get a day job though.
I think it's a good thing that
Just don't
you
know what
aren't
to do.
doing ingesting like caffeine, because I can only imagine like that trying to artificially
I
change
used to
it.
though.
Of
I
course.
used to have like a routine of like sugar-free blue V, like go to work, have that a few times a night. Like that was my like diet. Like, but it's so bad for you. Like,
Someone who won't be named, I would take this as a compliment, said, "Oh, I'm so surprised. Tamara gives me such Monster Energy girl vibes."
yeah.
And I was like, that's so fucking funny. I can imagine the long nails of the fucking Monster
I
Energy.
I literally like loved all of that stuff. Like was like I actually went to Innovanica 2 years ago and I was the Deso. I literally just drank like 10 Monster energy
you going.
drinks like a day or something. Fucked up.
Be
but
careful. My
I
partner
know.
got hospitalized because of Red Bull
Really.
and the no dose
Oh, I
and no
don't like.
sleep.
I think I would die if I had no dose.
Yes, that's nuts.
That was a high school thing. Noodles was so high school. Like, yeah, but definitely like not. And like, I don't really drink at work anymore. I used to get really drunk when I would work because it would like take the edge off. But now I just love being sober actually, and just being like I'm in control of the situation. Because when you're fucked up, you kind of just. And it kind of makes it a bit harder to make money because I'm not like being all like crazy and loose. And a lot of girls that like get really fucked up and they're just like party vibes, and guys love party girls, obviously.
Right.
So you have to like put on this fake persona of being so intense and extroverted and stuff
know.
when you don't feel like that, you know?
I think if it makes you feel, I feel like for those types of things, I feel like integrity is so important for yourself. I feel like I have no words on it, but what I would assume is like you don't want to end a night thinking I've sacrificed my integrity for the sake of someone else's
Exactly.
money right now.
Exactly.
And so having that control, I'm sure, it makes it easy to go back to work.
And also a lot of girls in the industry like get really sucked into it, like into like drugs and alcohol
Yeah,
and
slippery slope.
stuff. So I've really, when I've come back from overseas, been like,
Being professional about
especially
it.
on weeknights, like I'll drive to work, so I'll be like, I'm not
Perfect.
doing anything.
That's
yeah.
great. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that you've been responsible about it. I was talking to Isaac about it as well, about like the people that take it seriously, whatever craft it is. Like you can exist in it and appreciate it longer.
I really find now I actually love being sober and going out. I used to go to a club and be like, oh, I need to take something to like enjoy the music or enjoy myself or talk to people or have a drink or something. But like, I actually got really sick when I was in London, so I didn't drink or do anything like in London. And then I was on antibiotics when I came back to Australia. So like for a few weeks, like when I was here, I wasn't drinking, and I would just go out to bars with my friends and have like a mocktail or something.
Once you get good at it, it's
like
easy.
But now I'm like, I feel drunk, but I'm sober, but I'm just like high on life, even though it's so dumb.
Yeah.
But I've been like obsessed with that recently.
It helps once you're comfortable. I feel like it's harder if it's a social circle you don't know.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
very different. The
That's
moment you're like
true.
with comfortable with
It's
friends,
just my friends.
I don't need to drink.
Yeah.
It's such a no biggie. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
For sure.
Okay, we're almost done. This one is kind of recent to what you've been talking about. I'll also chop this down. How necessary is it for you to take breaks for photography? Do you find yourself in creative ruts?
Yeah, I guess
We definitely already talked
talked
about
about that. But yeah, I think it is important for people to take breaks, because otherwise, like, you're just like smashing photos and it's not like anything meaningful anymore. Like, and you want it to be meaningful. Like, and especially on a film camera, like, you want, like, when I take a photo, I take one photo. I always just take one. I'm not like, oh, let's do another one. Or
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, or like sometimes if I'm like, oh, I saw it didn't focus. Sometimes my camera freaks out and it does, and like I miss the focus or something. I'll be like, oh wait, do it again. But generally, my rule with myself is like one photo. Like with all those
That's
like
fun.
kissing photos I did, I'm just like one photo, like, and like most of the time comes out fine. But definitely there's a lot of photos where I'm like, oh, I wish I like got that a bit better. But for some reason, I just have a knack of like, I could literally hold my camera like this and like not look in the lens and get the
You get the frame.
the
Yeah,
frame.
you understand it.
But like, yeah,
That's amazing.
definitely like not spamming photo. That's why I don't like digital, because you can take like 100 million photos and then you like don't even look at half of them,
Choose your
and then
best one.
you have to choose the best one, and it just becomes this whole thing, and you want to edit them all and you want to stare at them all for so long. Like I'm not about that.
Interestingly enough, I love photography, but I also, and I like video stuff, but I feel like my things are rooted in graphics, which is composition. And so when I'm taking photos, I am really conscious of getting a particular composition. So I spend a lot of time doing prep, my head of like doing it, setting it up, and then I need to take like one or two photos,
Yeah.
and then that's fine, especially with digital.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like people with the photography background, like wedding photographers, take 2 billion photos.
I just can't do
I
it.
couldn't do that. I enjoy getting a nice photo. If it works, it works. It doesn't. That's so fine. I think because film is like what I started with.
Yeah. Yeah, my parents always say to me, like, yeah, you need to get into wedding photography
Oh
or
my God.
event photography or something. But I'm like, it just feels so wrong.
Such an
like,
insult, in my opinion.
And I know that it's like, that's where the money is, and like, that's how you make a living. But like,
if you were doing this for like money,
low-key
I don't think
doesn't
that's not what we're doing it.
really reflect me. Like, I just don't think I could do it. Yeah.
No. And I don't think you should have to sacrifice what you want to do.
Like,
for
I
that.
have like a digital camera. Like, I have like, well, I've been shooting a little bit on like I bought this digicam, like tiny little digicam in Greece, just off this like random guy on Marketplace. But like, I have an actual professional camera as well, like a full like Canon like 700D something, like with like all the lenses and stuff. But it's like literally packed up in a box, like, because I just can't. Because I mean, maybe I should use it when I start shooting sex workers, because it might be a bit better. But it's
Easier
just
to
not.
edit and post.
It's just not me. I just can't do it, and
You
I feel so bad. It costs so much money and stuff, but it just like.
There's nothing stopping you
I
shooting with
never wanna-
both
I never
for a
want-
shoot.
Yeah, I just find that when I shoot, like, because I made a mistake one time of only shooting film, and I fucked the roll of film up, and then I lost everything. So for a while, I was shooting like digital and film of the same thing, but I just felt like it was just like not giving the same
It was
authenticity.
too much. And you would
Then
like
it was too pre-planned, and I would already be able to look. I just been able to like not know what it looks like and like see it later. Like yeah, like
I guess that's how it can be a bit difficult when it's like paid stuff, which is why like it's good that you've got something like a contacts because you have a lot more control.
Yeah.
And you could probably still light meter a fucking contacts. Like,
I think right now, like I feel like I'm confident enough that like I will shoot a role and I will get it to come out how I want it to come out. Like I feel like I've fucked up so much film, like not rolled it on properly or not done this properly. So now I've like made so many mistakes that I'm like pretty confident in the fact that I'll like get everything right. Hopefully.
it's a super nice feeling, especially when you haven't taken photos for a while, and then you grab the camera and it takes you like a couple of shots, and then you're like, oh, I get it now. You're like, oh no, I feel comfortable, and then you just keep doing it. Yeah, I love it. It's super nice. Okay, we have 2 more, I believe. I was gonna say your favorite photo series, taken a bit a part of, but I think maybe we can, instead of asking you that, we can put that straight into the magazine.
Yeah.
Just because there's so many, and I feel like it would be like choosing your children.
I think it honestly is my murals.
Yeah.
Those photos.
For the grad show.
Yeah, like even I have a few scans of some of them, but there's a lot of them that I didn't use. I think it is. No, I actually think it is those. They're my favorite,
Slay.
honestly. Yeah.
I might ask for those for the thing.
Yeah.
And then, how important is it for you to tell stories with your images, or do the stories come later?
I think that they come later because I honestly, like a lot of the time in the past when I'm shooting, I'm just documenting like things that are happening, or like I don't even remember half the things I take a photo of sometimes until I get my roll back. So I think then the story comes later, or people perceive like it as like a like fashion kind of story, like whole thing. Yeah, but I guess I am telling a story of like my life, I guess, but then also it's more about the people in the photos. So I would say later.
Later, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just curious if there was like, talking to you now, I completely agree.
Yeah.
But I wondered if there was like times where you planned it out. But I think it's more important for your work not to.
Yeah, I don't really think many of my photos are planned out, just because I feel really inexperienced in that planning. Planning stuff. Yeah.
It's a different type of language than just taking photos, which people don't fucking even realize, or until you start taking photos, appreciate. A final question. It's been a while. Could you walk us through a planned shoot from conception, execution, like post-production? Maybe if you had like an example of a shoot, do you walk some people through it for maybe aspiring photographers?
Yeah. So, well, I guess like even with those murals, so somewhat those are planned. Not planned, but like I would purposely go out with a black and white roll in my camera, and then I would like be looking at like everybody's outfits and like looking at what people are doing, and then I would kind of be like see someone like there's photos of like one of my friends like squatting on the ground in this like white like mesh kind of like bodysuit thing, and I would be like, oh my god, this would look good in my mural kind of work, or like this series. So I would kind of be like, don't move, like I just like stay there, like don't do anything, like just even if they're standing kind of weird or like doing something like weird, I'll just be like, don't move. And then I'll take that photo, and then
would you do the one and done with those?
Sorry?
Would you do the one and done with those photos?
Yeah, like
wow.
Pretty much.
That's
like
awesome.
Pretty much just one photo, yeah. But I would do like a lot of different like situations. So like I would have a lot of different kinds of them. I guess a few of them like towards the end of uni, like I would be like to my friend like, oh, like stand over here because look like this will look good for my mural. But then I would like go into uni at like so late because I'm such a like night person, at like 7 p.m. and like develop my film in like the dark room, like just like I don't know how to really explain how you do that. You just like roll the film on and then like put the chemicals in, and like you have this canister and you like shake it up and stuff, and then you like wash it and then you hang it up to dry. And then yeah, like the next day I would come in and you have like little like magnifying things and you put it on like a light box. And then I would just make a small print, like an A4 print of every photo I liked.
Yeah.
Just before I start doing like the big things. And like, cause I've done it for so long, it would probably only take me like 10 minutes, cause I would like kind of know, cause you like when you print a photo, yeah, it's like you do like one test strip and you do like intervals of 5 seconds and you have like a piece of paper, so you expose it for like 5 seconds, and then you see how long, and you like like change the aperture so it's like fully oh my god, I haven't done it in so long. It's fully open, yeah. So then it's like the brightest, so then you can turn it down. So you get like the more you close the aperture.
The tighter the hole gets.
Yeah, well but then the more detail you get in the photo, the more depth you get in the photo.
That makes sense.
As well. So then yeah, I would make a small one, or sometimes I would make a few small ones because I want to give it to my friends, I guess. And then yeah, we have this like whiteboard at uni and with magnets, and I would like stick them all up, and then I would get literally like all my teachers' opinions and like a bunch of friends' opinions, and they would be like this one, and I would kind of lay them out. And then yeah, I would go in to like this massive dark room, and it's literally like the enlarger is like on the roof basically. Like I can't even reach the thing. Like I have to stand on a chair.
It's just the thing that takes the exposure?
Yeah, the enlarger. So like you tape your negative into this like slot, and you slide it in, and then when you turn the light on, it like projects onto the floor. But like I literally have to print test strips that are like massive test strips. So I would buy like a whole roll of paper of 10 meters of paper, and it's literally like $400 or $500.
Well, don't they supply you with anything? I guess because it was for the final.
No, they don't. So you have to buy everything. You have to pay to use the darkroom too. At VCA. It's like backtracking to that though. Yeah, I guess when you like even learning how to develop the murals, you don't like put it in. You know how when you develop photo paper, it's like in a tray, and you like put it in and you have tongs and you like move it around and stuff. Yeah, with that you don't do this. So you have like a really long rectangular tray, and you have to like roll it, and you have to like pull it up, like over the mic, but you pull it up and then you like roll it over, and you roll it through the chemicals, and then you have to like pick it up and like rinse it out. And like my first one I ever did was so bad, because if you don't evenly roll it, or sometimes the chemicals like sink the paper and you can like rip the paper if you put too much chemical in it, and if you pull it up, it will literally like fuck the whole thing. Just dissolve it. So you have to be like so careful. Like you're literally putting your hands in the chemicals and stuff.
What a process.
And like yeah, it's such a crazy process, but yeah, that's basically how like that whole thing works. That's why people don't get it. Like,
I was gonna say, and that is why Tamara is allowed to price how they want. You don't know. Tamara does.
Literally.
Before I do the sign out, I'm gonna fix the fucking lighting on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, what? Shit.
It's fine. It's all part of it.
I guess because it got dark.
It did. Yeah, this was our backlight. Yeah. But this is still good lighting. It's just that it was that time of day. Yeah. Thank you for that. You answered fucking amazing.
Everything.
That is
my
everything.
life story.
No. This is amazing. I've been so curious about this stuff.
Yeah.
Until next time, this has been Don't Panic Magazine. Thank you so much, Tamara, for your time.
Thank you.
I've been your host, Tristan Maloney. You can find me online somewhere, I'm sure. You can find Tamara on Instagram, and hopefully maybe some future galleries.
Yeah.
That would be really fucking fun.
We'll
see. Or buy their book. They might make a book.
Maybe I'll make a book. I should make a book.
They'll make a book. Buy the fucking book.
Yeah.
There's only one camera, but I like this camera. Tell the people what's going on. What have you got next? Is there anything you want to talk about, or like your plans? With your photos?
Right now, yeah, I guess just like would love like support online. Even though online is fake, like yeah, my plans right now are just to post everything I create, like whether I'm like I hate this or whatever, like just not I hate it, but I think that it won't cater to what people want. Like that is my plan, and just like
send love to Tamara.
Yeah, I need
they
the
deserve
love,
it
like
so fucking much.
Yeah, so that's my plans. Maybe be in some galleries, but Galleries are just so pretentious, and getting a foot in the door is like, you have to write like a whole, like, because a lot of my teachers from uni are like gallery representatives. So they say they literally like get like thousands of applicants, and they'll like look at one of your photos and they'll skim through what you've written about your whole thing, and they barely even look at it. And it's kind of like, it's kind of about who you know, not what you do.
Unfortunately, and that is the case for this fucking field.
So I feel like right now galleries are just not in my lane, and I don't really want to be a part of that. But maybe in the future, I think I should display my murals again, because I don't know what to do with them. They're just sitting in a wardrobe. It's really sad. Like I sold 2 of them, but like I priced them at like $700, which I know is a lot out of people's budget, but it's like the cost of everything. Otherwise, I will lose money.
Don't sacrifice that.
But yeah, I don't even know what to do with them. They're like too big to. The framing of them costs like $1,000. Like, I haven't framed them, but my friend got them framed, and like, it's just like too like, I don't know. Yeah.
Go support. Go fucking support. I cut it all. Go support Tamara. This has been Don't Panic Mag. Cheers. Fucking watching. See you on the next one.
Thank you. Bye. I'm so bad. Like when I'm on camera, I'm always like looking at myself. Like
do it.